Conversations with Z.
Greetings, guys. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Z with myself, Zamaka Jenny. And alongside me is the stranger. He's even grown a beard. I have not seen him in so long that he has now even grown a beard.
It's been months.
So I must say, very happy to be reunited with my partner in this thing. Ujabu, so good to see you.
It's so great to see you.
You've been everywhere.
I know.
Right? You must be exhausted just from all the events you attend.
It's actually overwhelming just attending all of these events.
Yeah. Everyone wants a piece of job.
Not really. These events are good, but at the same time, it gets overwhelming when you sort of see a lot of people that you know. Some you want to talk to, some you want to talk to. So
yeah.
I think that's just the overwhelming part about it.
Okay, well, thank you for still having time for us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, guys, by now you know how we do, right? We look at South African productions, and in case you're catching Conversations with Z for the very first time and you do not know what is happening, Jabu McDonald and I, we look at South African productions, really just review it, look at different aspects, and then at the end we rate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we always just encourage that you also check it out for yourself to see if you align with our thinking or not. And of course we don't always agree as well. So always great to just kind of see how we interpret what we've watched. So today we watched rather a Black Rain production.
Mm-hmm. The first ever on Netflix.
Oh yes. So I am a fan of I think Mandla and the Man, and his production house, and I think for me it's just one of those successful stories. I think he's an inspiration. So yeah, I really look up to him. And I mean, if I think Black Rain, what always just stands out for me is I was really a fan of Lockdown. You know me very well.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of Lockdown. But I mean, they've done a lot of work. There's Ispeto that is airing at the moment. They've done Sita,
Deep City.
You see,
there's been a lot of shows, comedy shows, and all that stuff.
Yeah. What is your favorite show of theirs?
I think my favorite show is Isita when it comes to Black Rain. That telenovela has been done so well, and it's probably one of the most relevant and good shows that we have right now when it comes to telenovela. They've sort of written it so well, and I hope that it gets more seasons in the future. But you just never know with telenovelas in South Africa. One, you have them for 2 years, after 2 years they're gone, but you just never know with them.
Yeah. Okay, but you've been consistent in saying Sita, so clearly they're doing something
No,
right.
it's a really good show. It's really a good show.
Yeah. So today we're talking Piano Love.
Yes.
And I mean, if you haven't managed to check it out, as Jabu has said, it's currently on Netflix. It's really a story about, I would say, these young lovers who are really just on a path to kind of figure life out. They're trying to chase their dreams, and obviously just how they navigate life and the challenges that are thrown their way. I think, which is just life, right?
Yeah.
Because we are also.
It is relatable in that sense. So everyone goes with certain challenges. Everything's not perfect. There's always something. So that's what the movie's about, basically.
Yeah. So I'll always let you go first. What were your impressions of it, of the production? And I think once you've spoken about your impression, then we can do the usual sort of, the music, the wardrobe, your top cast, and then we'll get to the review. But yeah, how did you find it?
With Piano Love, it's one of those shows where I would say movie. It's one of those movies where I would say it was a great opportunity for Manda and to really introduce him on the international platform like that. Netflix and stuff like that. Yes, it was only released in South Africa, but I saw him doing tours in the UK also for his movie. So clearly there's some people who saw it on that side. It's not his best work for me.
Yeah.
I've seen other movies from his side, but it's not necessarily his best work when it comes to the movies that was actually produced. Firstly, with the casting, a lot was off about it. Just having non-actors sort of star in this. Yes, it was a risk and all that stuff, but I wasn't really for it. Quista's acting skills, he's new, I don't want to be too hard on him, but wasn't his best work obviously, in his first gig and whatever. But in entirety, I don't think it was really the sort of work that you would say, oh, this is the Mandela that I know. It wasn't his best work, but there's other projects in the works when it comes to local movies that he's producing for Netflix. So let's just see how that goes with that. But the first one, I'm really not impressed with that. I remember I gave it like if I'm missing 4 out of 10, 5, somewhere there.
So, I mean, I got to see a lot of the reviews on social media before I watched. I mean, there was a rating that was as low as a 3, right?
Yes.
And I always try to watch with an objective view, right? And I don't want to lie, Jabu, like a lot of people were complaining about, and now I'm going into the cast prematurely, but a lot of people were complaining about Kwesta and Wontle from an acting perspective, because if I'm not, I mean, we know Wontle for presenting and for all these dance shows and choreography and all of that, but I think it was the first time that we got to see Wontle, the actress. I think she actually had a stint in the show that her sister was in. I think is it Jive?
Jive,
yes. But I mean, she was acting as a judge, so I think that was pretty much realistic.
Sort of like guest appearance.
Yes.
Because those don't do that much most of the time.
But Joe, I don't want to lie. I think they did well. There wasn't a moment where I watched them and I was like, ooh, yeah, no. I really didn't get to the team that they were bad.
Look, they were not entirely bad, but I think how it was shot, when I found out in terms of how many days it was shot, I was shocked. And it sort of made sense because it did feel like it was rushed. I feel like there wasn't enough time sort of like put into it. But also, when I read articles about how Mandela was actually funding these shows by himself and just sort of selling the licensing to Netflix, it now makes sense. When it comes to funding a movie, it's very difficult. Putting in your own money is a huge risk because it could work, it might not work. And you may find out that with the capital that he has, it's not even that much investing to this whole film, and he sort of has to compromise or use things that he has. Like, he just has to use whatever he can to sort of make this film. But I think that's one of the issues. Funding is always a huge issue when it comes to South African films. And I feel like that's one of the things that's actually holding us back in terms of producing good quality movies. We do have great storylines, but when it comes to executing what we would like to see in terms of the vision or the final product, it's not really good because of funding is an issue. We don't believe in our movies in South Africa. We'd rather invest in a new soapy, new telenovela, or a drama series, because that's what brings the numbers, that's what brings money for broadcasters and producers. But when it comes to films, independent films, it's difficult for them to make it work. And independent films, if they have 50K, they'll make it work, and they'll make it work. I don't know how they do it, but they always make it work. And I think that's sort of the issue. They could have done more in terms of that.
Well, let's hope that things change in the near future. You know, that we then start to see a shift as far as that is concerned. But if we just look at the, you know, all the other aspects, were you then not impressed with everything? So, for example, as you've mentioned that you feel it was rushed, what else do you feel you want to express?
The idea was there, the concept was there, but everything else just fell flat for me. Performance, even with the also South African films, they tend to play South African music on scenes randomly, and it goes back to what does the music say about the scene? Does it connect with what's happening with the scene? I can't be having a funeral scene and play an upbeat piano song. It doesn't make sense to me. So I sort of feel like sometimes with movies they do just throw in music just because you like that song. Oh, I'll probably continue watching it because I like the song. And I think that also fell flat. Yes, wardrobe, makeup and all the stuff they did well. The set and whatever looked amazing. Casting wise, they did a fantastic job with some of the people. But in general, it wasn't done so well in
Yeah.
terms of majority of the things that we did.
Yeah.
So I think that's the issue with me.
Yeah. Okay. I think I see here that I said because when I watch, then I tend to jot things down that stand out for me. So I get what you're saying about how certain things were overlooked. I mean, I know and maybe this is the detail-orientated Zama that I am, but because the daughter's name, Chris's daughter's name is it Amahle or Spahle? Because I think it's
Spahle.
But I'm almost certain that there was a point where he said Amahle, and I picked it up, and it bothered me. I was like, Daddy, what is the child's name? Is the child Amahle
Also
or Spahle?
with that, I don't think also budget becoming a huge issue when it comes to films. They can't do many takes because it costs them money.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't want to do another take in terms of that scene, and they just left it as it is. The fact that you picked it up and I did it,
Yeah.
it clearly says a lot. Maybe I should watch it again.
But then how many other Zamas are out there that picked it up? Because then it becomes a quality issue, right? Because I picked it up and I was like, how guys, his own daughter's name. He's getting
That's
it
an
wrong.
issue also. Continuity is also an issue when it comes to South African productions. Because literally before the break, I could be wearing a green shirt. After the break, I'm now wearing a white shirt.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen
Yeah.
a lot of times. And I just wondered to myself, what was happening on that scene? Who didn't notice?
How
this
did
mistake?
everyone miss it?
Yes,
Yeah.
but sometimes you can't blame. Everyone is allocated a certain job description.
Yeah.
And all of us can be doing each other's job.
Like certain departments.
Yeah, if I'm a director, my focus is just me making sure I execute the scene and I'm done.
Yeah.
There's probably someone who's in charge of continuity. They have to pay attention. They have to know that this person was wearing this color shirt before this and that.
Yeah.
So there's that also.
Okay.
So who's sleeping on the job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk cost. What would you say about the cost overall?
The only person that stood out for me was Peter Mashu. The rest just did. I think that's the only person who stood out for me. He did a fantastic job with that. But in general, I wouldn't say that everyone else did a good job. But Peter Mashu was like, oh yes, Peter Mashu and Kevin Spearman. They were the outstanding people when it comes to the cast. I think those are the only people I'd say I really liked their performance.
So I've already spoken about Kwesta and Bontle, so I'm not going to repeat that. Also really enjoyed Peter Mashego, and you know he did a good job because I really did not like his character.
I hated him, yes, he nailed it.
He irritated me a lot. So clearly he got it right. But someone else who I also really enjoyed was Ubeli Spear, who was playing the part of the uncle.
Yes,
so who was
yes.
given Stillman's
Yes.
character's father. I really just enjoyed him. So I think for me, if I had to take a top two, they would definitely be my top two. And that scene at the end, there was a scene where there was an emotional scene towards the end between him and Given, where he was saying to him, I think Given was premature or whatever, because I think Given was under the impression that his dad is just hard on him, doesn't love him, prefers the nephew, and we got to see, which no man, this man actually loves his son, you know. And it's a pity then that he ends up dying. Yeah, I really enjoyed that emotional scene itself. And I think overall, I quite enjoyed Ubeki and Peter, of course. Yeah, but from my side, it wasn't as bad as some people made it out to be.
Yeah. No, I get you. We all experience these things differently. Some may like it, some may not like it. But yeah, it's one of those films where I feel like with Manda, and you shouldn't just take it too personal to a point where it just tears down every work that is done and the confidence that he has in terms of producing his stuff. It's sort of like, where do I improve?
Yeah.
What can I fix? What can I do better next?
Yeah.
I think that's just about it. I think that's what you can learn from this film.
But I think that goes for everyone, right?
Everyone, yes. if nobody's saying anything about your work, clearly there's something you're not doing. If someone, there has to be a good and negative thing that people are saying. It shows that people are actually watching and they're interested. If I was someone, if I'd seen the trailer, if I was someone else, I'd probably say I'm not gonna watch it because I already know what the trailer it's just not doing much for me. But the fact that there's people who actually took their time to watch from the beginning to the end, it shows that they do have the passion, they do want to consume the content. But if they complain, it shows that they actually speaking from a point of honestly do better. We're not trying to tear you down. And I remember I had a conversation with him on MySpace about how Tyler Perry has received so much criticism over the years, and that's never stopped him from producing the stuff that he produces. And you learn from your mistakes and you just improve on that.
So if you haven't checked out Piano Love, support local, check it out. And share your views below. Do you agree with Jabu? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with the masses? How did you find it? And yeah, let's get chatting. But I think for now, then let's get rating. Let's get rating.
I don't even remember the rating. I don't know whether there's something similar to this. Let's see.
No, my handwriting has not improved. It's still just as bad. Sure.
I know.
You are brutal.
I know.
Okay, so yeah. But yeah, like I said, check it out for yourself and share your views as well. And I think that's it on Piano Love, right?
Yeah, that's it. Don't be discouraged by the ratings or what we say. You probably might like it, you might not like it, but it goes to how you feel about it. It's your experience, your personal experience with it. So yeah.
And that's why we want to know what you think. So yeah, until we check out the next one, stay tuned. And please, if you haven't liked, if you haven't followed, please get on board. We are building a community here. So until the very next production, take care. Who knows? Jabu's beard might be even longer than this.